Hello, hello, and welcome back to Mindfully Rich Podcast, your weekly look at life and finances with a twist where we talk about improving your overall relationship with money and building better financial habits. In each episode, I'll discuss real life situations and give y'all practical advice. The point of this podcast is to help you stay in your financial lane and enhance your overall financial behaviors so you won't end up broke. I'm the creator and host, RichE. Now, let's jump into today's conversation. What's up, y'all? Yes, we back 2 episodes in 1 week, and you get in this bonus episode because of Juneteenth. Yes, I had some things on my mind, and I wanted to talk to y'all about it, so I'm not going to waste no time. Of course, thank you to everyone for listening. Really appreciate y'all, and I hope that y'all love today's Mindful Money moment. All right, we're going to jump right into it. And today's bonus conversation is regarding reparations, paying for freedom, and giving y'all 3 facts about the cost of the Emancipation Proclamation. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so today marks 165 years after June 19th, 1865. So I want to give y'all some history as to the reason why we celebrate Juneteenth. So back in 1865, on June 19th, Gordon Granger, who was a Union general, he arrived in Galveston, Texas, and he was the one to tell the slaves that they had been freed, get this, 2.5 years earlier in 1862, because they didn't know. No one had given them that information, or let's go ahead and say it like this. Their owners didn't want to release them and let them free. Okay, let's just go ahead and be real. So we celebrate Juneteenth because everybody wasn't free. My ancestors weren't free until June 19th, 1865. So that's the reason why Juneteenth is so important. And it's important for everyone to know the history around this because people are still unaware. I'm glad that yesterday Congress went ahead and made Juneteenth a national and federal holiday, because it needed to be. If we could celebrate Independence Day, which is July 4th, which wasn't my ancestors' independence, we can celebrate Juneteenth. Okay? Y'all hear me? Yes, you hear it all in my voice. Okay? So you know I'm serious. Okay? So today I wanted to make sure that I gave y'all some money information on the cost of the Emancipation Proclamation. And so I'm going to go ahead and give y'all that first fact. Did y'all know that the federal government, they compensated the owners of slaves $300 per slave just so that they can get on board with allowing their slaves to be free? $300. Y'all did not hear me wrong. Okay? And so in today's money, that equals over $25 million that they paid slave owners just to get on board and to release their slaves. Because in those days, they felt Black people were property. They needed to be enslaved. Yes, that's not me. That's history. Okay? The second fact I wanted to tell y'all is that in contrast with that, the former slaves, if they decided to leave the United States, they would be paid $100. That $100 at that time equated to $2,683 in today's money. Today's money meaning 2021 money. So they had to leave the U.S. in order to receive any type of compensation. And I read President Lincoln, he thought that it would be best for everyone. Not best for everyone. He was backpedaling on that. It would be best for the slave owners if the former slaves were no longer here. Because during that time, they did not believe that Black people were people. They looked at Black people as property. So they didn't want to see what was once their property walking around free. That's what he meant to say. Okay? And so that's a mess. You not only brought the slaves over here, not slaves over here, you brought my people over here, enslaved them, correction, made them slaves. Then you want to release them, give them freedom, and then tell them to leave? That they got to leave? But you brought them here? That don't make no sense. Okay? So the third fact, y'all, is that the slaves themselves once they were freed, they didn't receive no compensation, not a dollar, not a penny, anything, y'all, not anything. That sucks. It's bullshit is what it is, okay? And normally I don't cuss on this podcast, but when I'm talking about this, that's exactly what that was. My ancestors built this country. Slavery was used as an economic system. Use black people as property to build this country up. If you think I'm lying, go ahead and do your research. And for the government to not pay them a dime, but pay the slave owners, that's messed up. That's what brings me to reparations and the reason why this conversation needs to progress. Former slaves weren't paid a dime when they were released and received their freedom, which they needed to receive something. Can you imagine that? Imagine this is what I want y'all to think. All your life, or majority of your life, someone enslaves you. You're doing all of this manual labor for sometimes 16 hours a day. You don't receive a dime. That's the reason why we, as black people, we talk about reparations need to be paid out. Now, when that conversation comes up of why should we give reparations, or do you think that there's still a need for it? Yes, it is, because it has put black people behind. Yes, it has. And that's the reason why the conversation needs to come up, because that's exactly what they did. They gave those slave owners reparations for releasing, at that time, their slaves. So you can now give descendants of those slaves reparations for what their ancestors had to go through. Y'all, I read that reparations today would estimate around $20.3 trillion in 2021 money. That's over 50 million black people in the United States who would receive these funds. I think it's time. I definitely think it's time. So when people come and they say, should Juneteenth be a holiday? Should we be recognizing it? Why are we celebrating it? Just know that we're celebrating freedom and liberation. And now that it's a holiday, everybody gonna have to acknowledge it. Okay? So because I was going so quick through all of the notes that I was going through, I think I may have said the wrong date for the Emancipation Proclamation. It was 1863. Want to make sure that I check that because I don't want y'all to say that I don't know my history. Okay? Just want to make sure it's clear. All right, y'all. That concludes today's bonus episode. And until next time, when I hit y'all with another one.